To Via the Grapevine, offering you the chance to learn more about wine, the masters behind them, and even which wines to collect. Today, we head out to South Africa's biggest family-owned winery. The Retief family has been making wine since 1937, when they bought the Loveren farm near Robertson in the Western Cape, of course. Wynand and Nico Retief started making wine for wholesale and bottling it themselves in the 1960s. The Retiefs created the famed Loveren brand in 1980. It took a year to sell 500 cases. Today, it's the top-selling bottled wine in South Africa, with 1.4 million cases being dispatched from their cellars to a legion of fans. Joining me today are winemakers Jacques Cilliers and Willie Conradie. A very warm welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you, Guy. Thank you, Guy.
Jacques, we first met at Zandvliet, where you are GM and winemaker, and I believe that Loveren now owns that brand. So is your focus on that range of wines, or are you on all of the wines now?
Yes, no, the deal happened about 2 years ago. So my focus is still with Zandvliet over there, but I'm very much part of the team here at Loveren, and making wine with Willie, red wines, and my focus is more on red wines.
Gotcha.
They do allow me to taste the whites also, so that's good. So yeah, I'm still keeping up with the white wines. So it's still good.
Excellent. And I suppose a question for both of you, but Willie, a chance for you to open your answering. I believe that this last harvest was the latest in something like 20 years. Winemakers were waiting and waiting and waiting. I know in Durbanville, they say that they feel it's been one of the best. Would you say the same for Loveren?
Definitely. Yeah, we are lucky to start a little bit earlier than the guys in Durbanville, because we have a very early white variety cultivar. So we started on 12 January and we only ended on the 23rd of April. So 15 weeks, it's really long. Yeah, being able, with the quality that we got, we are very happy, and we also say that that was probably one of the best harvests that Loveren had in a very long time.
That's incredibly exciting. If we think about how people were raving about 2015 and 2017, so now I have another year that's going to stand out as a pinnacle. Yes. That's exciting stuff. This year, Loveren celebrates 4 decades of winemaking, and as we know, it's very much a family affair between brothers and cousins. Have you gentlemen become a part of the family? Is there a pressure to maintain that heritage of winemaking, or are you afforded individual license?
Yeah, I'll quickly just answer that. We're lucky to still have Wynand as well as Basil involved in the cellar. So they come and taste every wine before it gets bottled, and they still have their input. But otherwise, we as winemakers, we do our thing, and if they're happy with it, then we just go with it. But otherwise, we as winemakers do have a free pass to try new things, and yeah, just be innovative in the way that we can be.
That's awesome, because I would imagine that with such a big team, how many of you are there in total making wine at Loveren specifically?
Well, there's the 3 of us. Basil is number 4. Then Danielle at bottling. There's Derek also on the bottling side. I should know this, but there's a lot around the table if we sit down and taste the wine. So yeah.
And so there's a lot of individual opinions and creativity that comes to the party. But I suppose at the same time, what's great about that is that there is so much input that can come from many different minds. So it's very interesting. The Retief family believe that the key to staying at the center of the contemporary South African wine industry is a constant process of renewal and investment in the future. How is this reflected in the actual farming and your winemaking?
Yeah, that's a good question. We are busy with a project, a red wine project here at Loveren, where we have selected certain blocks which we try to farm now to deliver exceptional quality and bring down the tons that the grapes carry. As well as we bought a farm in the Whip area where we've planted certain cultivars and we selected the rootstocks which works better in a dryland area. So definitely being innovative and trying to renew, but also to keep up with renewal, the quality of the wines. And that's why we started this project, and we can actually see in the last couple of 2 years what difference it has made being doing something different in the grapes and in the vineyards as well.
And I suppose the fact that they've invested in Zandvliet, Jacques, speaks to that investment, doesn't it?
I think definitely, it adds to the whole
extending the
vision
portfolio
of where we want to take it. Definitely, it's trying to make wines that suit a certain brand. So yeah, it's focusing on that. Yeah, lovely work that's been done in the vineyards at the moment.
Let's go to the wines, and we'll start up first with the Van Loveren Sauvignon Blanc 2021. And you can notice the new label there as well. Willie, with so many wines being made at Van Loveren, do you, as winemakers, and I kind of touched on this a little earlier, but do you have individual brands or varieties that you create under the supervision of cellar master Retief, or is it a complete combined effort from all of you?
No, it's. I don't think we can. I'm not responsible for one thing, and we always try to help each other where we can. So all of us are involved, and then afterwards we, as winemakers, as a team, will sit and we'll make up a blend. So we would not, except for Zandvliet, for Jacques being the only winemaker there, but for me, and Chris and Basil, the three of us, always we stay together. We make decisions. We make them together, so we don't have one person responsible for something specific, because then we don't want to put one's name specifically to a bottle rather than make it a team effort in the end.
Great. And I believe, if you don't mind us moving just to the label, I believe the new eye-catching graphic here on the label is from the original invitation to the wedding of Henny Retief Sr. to Jean van Zyl. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
That is correct, yes. On the card that he had sent, or which they sent the invitation from, had those embroiders on them in the back, as well as the little diamond in the middle of the R of the VRL, the little diamond in the middle. That was also a logo that was on the wedding card that was sent out to the people. So that's also the reason why that is on there. So yeah, the label has a lot of meaning and a lot of, like I say, speciality and meaning to the Retief family in the end. And I'm absolutely in awe of the new label. I think it's stunning.
I agree. I think it's very classy, and it stands out on the shelf as well. I think you're going to get a lot of consumers that are probably going to notice it for the first time and say, "What is that? Oh, it's Van Loveren. Oh, I bought Van Loveren before. Oh, right, okay. They must have new owners." This is delicious. I'm loving the lime that's coming through initially on it. There's that lovely minerality on the palate as well. It's obviously very young, 2021. When would this have been bottled?
This was bottled in the second week of February.
And
that's the one that you probably taste now. Is not the first batch. The first batch is already sold out. So this is probably already be the third batch if I am correct. So so since it was launched under the new label, it sold very quickly. A lot of people, especially Sauvignon Blanc, the consumers want a new fresh wine on the market, and luckily for Van Loveren, why we start to harvest so early. We have the opportunity to be one of the first on the market with the new 2021 Sauvignon Blanc. So yeah, that definitely helps with the sales of the wine.
That youth is obviously that fruit explosion that happens, and as you say, a lot of people, when they go to drink wine, they want that. What would you say, though, you could keep this particular Sauvignon Blanc for? How many years? Or is it making it to be drunk within a year?
No, we have another Sauvignon Blanc in a different range, in the Christina range, that is being made to last a little bit longer than these fruit-driven wines. So for me, this wine would basically be drinkable for up to 14, 16 months until 2022. But yeah, Sauvignon Blanc is made to be consumed very early, and yeah, I think that's why it's doing so well.
You mentioned the Christina range. I'd like to move now to the Reserve, the Retief Reserve, and this is a Cape White blend. It's got a phenomenal label. Look at that. And you know, this is color here. These are, I can't see if it's catching. Absolutely beautiful. Is this regarded as the premium range, or is it kind of the 2IC to the Christina range?
No, this is it's probably the 2IC to the Christina range, with the Christina being our flagship. You had Van Loveren, and then also with the new Zandvliet range, which was also a top premium range. So yeah, being only a Cape White and a Cape blend in this specific range, it's something that the Retief family had. These wines are being made for them to have the Retief name couple or next to on a label. But this is a really amazing wine, being awarded the best wine in its class at the National Wine Challenge is something phenomenal. So we are very proud of this wine here at Van Loveren.
I was just going to say, well done to you. Just winning the Grand Cru Best White Blend on show at the SA Wine Challenge. Absolutely fantastic. And I'm loving it. There's hints of vanilla coming through on the nose. Is that's obviously linked to a wooding that you do?
Yes, yeah. We, in this specific wine, we use Chenin Blanc, Chardonnay and Colombard, and which also do part-time fermentation in third and fourth fill, all the white wine barrels here in the cellar. So yeah, it will go to barrels for about 4 months, and then we'll take it out and make up the blend, and then just let it sit and breathe a little bit until it's time for bottling. Absolutely
phenomenal. I'm a little speechless. It's lovely, absolutely lovely on the palate. I think it's relatively fair to say that Van Loveren has built its brand foundation on approachable wines, but winning awards like this one has done speaks to your aim to create super premium wines. Is that right?
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, we don't want to be seen as a seller that only sells volumes, but we also want to be known as a winery that's doing consistent in competitions and winning prizes and being competitive to sellers like Beyers Kloof and Kanonkop in Stellenbosch area. We want to beat them in competition. So yeah, no, we strive not to make only consumable wines, but also making premium class wines.
And Jacques, you and Zandvliet obviously very much integral to that aim of producing high quality grapes at select vineyards.
Yes, definitely. Maybe something to add concerning the whites. I mean, we've got a 2021 Sauvignon Blanc in the bottle, and here this is a 2019. It shows just the spectrum of your question was, can wines age or when to drink? So this Cape White, definitely 2019, it shows it can age, and it can age definitely for possibly another couple of years. So the team here at Loveren is really doing well. At Zandvliet, yeah, the aim is always to make wines that you will remember. Quality for me, should always be good quality wines. But it's definitely wine with character, and I want to capture the vintage, or every vintage. So, there's a consistent line through all the wines. And yeah, we've got great terroir to work with on Zandvliet, with all the chalk limestone on Zandvliet. So, and that's, I think, the golden thread from vintage to vintage. And it's just for us, for me as a winemaker, to every vintage to see that and make sure that we pick at the right ripening levels.
I must, and I'm zigzagging a little bit here, so kind of going back to you, Willie. I must compliment you and the team on that 2021 Sauvignon Blanc, because often with such a young Sav, you sometimes will pick up those pyrazine notes, and I'm not getting that at all. I know some people love that, the grass, the green pepper. I'm really getting more of your fruit, your lime, and I'm loving that. I'm absolutely loving that, because for me personally, you know, Sauvignon Blanc, I find often those pyrazine notes put me off, but I'm not getting that there at all. And then, as you said, Jacques, this Cape White blend is just beautifully luscious on the nose. It's wonderful to just keep revisiting them, and I'll keep doing that through the interview. But let's move on to that. Oh, look at this. The story of Zandvliet, all about Shiraz. Besides being one of the first wineries in the country to bottle this noble cultivar, what do you believe is the magic behind a Zandvliet Shiraz, Jacques?
Maybe today, you know, if you plant a new block, you know, you make use of all the technology available to do terroir analysis and everything. To plant it. Now, maybe part of the romantic story is way back, you know, this valley was planted with all kinds of white varietals, Colombar and Chenin, and you know, those varietals, they were the foundation. And back then, was it now 50 years ago, the vets, they asked, or they said to themselves, well, we need to plant something that's red. So what is that going to be? And in those days, you know, the red wines was known as oxblood or dipfoot type of wines. And of course, Shiraz was used successfully in blends way back. And the De Wets had a farm close to the west coast, which they farm the oats that they use as feeding for the horses. And on that farm, there was some Shiraz. So old Paulie De Wet said, listen, we farm with Shiraz against the west coast, so we know how to farm with Shiraz. We're going to plant it over here in Robertson. And that's how it was done. And it was first planted maybe just off the river banks, so on the weathered shale soils. And then as they got better pumps to pump water up further up on the farm, they started opening up the sort of the what we call the Kalkveld area, the chalk area. And yeah, that was planted. So what brings it all together, I think, you know, tasting the soils now and having a look, pH levels of the soils, very technical, but it's right up at 9.6 that I've seen. That's quite high for a soil. And I think that just leans to the sort of natural stress that the vines are given during growing season and ripening. And that's what we find in the glass eventually. And
so to the tasting of this delicious, as you mentioned, Kalkveld, award-winning 2017 Kalkveld Shiraz. And I believe the grapes are, for this wine, are sourced from a single parcel. Is that correct,
yes,
Jacques?
so
Can you tell us more?
Yeah, so there's a little block at the back. It's about 30 years old now, and 2017 was 27 years old. Yeah, so that block is sorted out, and it's we pick it, we bring it into the cellar, we do a bit of it's about 20% whole bunch in the fermenter. The rest is just stent, not crushed, and then we allow fermentation to take its course. And then, yeah, we fill some new oak barrels, oak it for about 2 years. I don't want to make it sound like it's that easy, but that's more or less the process. Of course, lots of tastings, lots of decisions, what barrels to use, when to take it out, first racking, and so forth. But yeah, that's more or less. And every year, it's a bit stressful. Sometimes it's a bit closed, the wines, but a year after bottling, it tends to open up beautifully. You don't get many red wines that's aged for that long, bottled, and then on the market is a 2017, 2021. So yeah, I would say this wine has got legs still on it, very much so, for the next 10 years, 15 years. I can say that because I have opened older vintages. We still make it very much in the same style. It's the same cellar and same vineyard. So with confidence, I've tasted it 2003 on the normal Zandvliet Shiraz. I've been fortunate to taste the 75 vintage, which was exceptional. Wow. So it gives you an idea of what Zandvliet Shiraz can be.
And Jacques, 100% Shiraz in here. You haven't
100% Shiraz, yes.
Anything else? You say you make it sound easy. One of the best experiences I've ever had was at Zandvliet. Where do you still offer that blending opportunity down in the cellar?
Yeah, only on booking, so it's not for walk-ins anymore. But COVID almost killed that. But no, it's still alive. So yeah, but it's definitely
that was phenomenal and very stressful, because I went with people that decided that I knew a lot about wine, and I said, no, I know just probably as much as you. I mean, I have an appreciation of wine. And when it comes to blending, I mean, Willie, you could also echo this. It's a wonderful challenge, isn't it? Because it's minuscule percentages that can completely change the flavor or the body or the tannin structure, and you put just a little bit too much of that, and then the tannin overtakes. So I understand, Jacques. It's not easy at all. I get you on that completely, and I know that it takes good time. Getting lovely, initially lovely ripe kind of prune notes, and but then this lovely herbaceousness. Is this particular parcel of vines surrounded by any kind of Karoo fynbos, or what would be giving that herbaceous note?
Yeah, I think you're quite right. Sort of a herby spiciness that comes through. There's a little bit the hill of Enon, so it's planted on the foothills of that little hill, and it's surrounded by fynbos.
Oh, right.
Yeah, okay. You're quite correct in picking that one up. Yeah.
Question for both of you. If you were to choose 3 of Van Loveren's offering that best illustrate their aim, which wines do you personally love the most?
That's a difficult question. I don't normally like to choose because all of our opinions differ. But for me, it's definitely our Van Loveren range, our Cabernet Sauvignon. It's a phenomenal wine, 2019 vintage that is in the bottle. And then one of my personal favorites is the Christina Sauvignon Blanc, which I really, really like. And then, then it becomes difficult because I really like a wooded Chardonnay. I just enjoy it a lot. But I think I actually choose this Retief Cape White over the Christina wooded Chardonnay. Because it's just an exceptional wine, and quality-wise, it's really something special that we have put together in the bottle.
And Jacques,
I mean, there's plenty to choose from, and I must say, I think I must buy some of this Retief Cape White. It's drinking beautifully. So I think I slept a little bit on this one, but yeah, no, it's really. It's showing this morning really nicely. I would say the Retief, the Cape Red, the blend also. just because I also like blend different varietals and wines together. I would say it's a real special wine. Yeah, I'm together there with Willie, the Van Loveren cap is drinking very nicely. I think the Merlot is following, probably just needs a little bit of rest still. Yeah, so yeah, that would be my picks from the Van Loveren wines, I would say.
I love a wooded Chardonnay as well, so I echo that sentiment, and I think also blends offer so much when you are out and about. If you're, you know, we were away for the weekend and you're out somewhere, and a blend just is so much rounder almost. But I wanted to also touch on the fact that you've got a wonderful range of wines, which I promote to people all the time, and they so often apologetic in their fondness for this wine, because you know, it's kind of seen as a bottom tier wine. The Tangled Tree range of wines. I was chatting with a woman that lives in McGregor, and she said to me, you know, my favorite wine from Van Loveren is Tangled Tree. Oh, I shouldn't say that. And I said, no, that's absolutely wonderful that you say that, because, and here comes the cat, the famous cat that always joins every interview. And I said, no, I'm exactly the same. I feel the same. And I love the plastic bottles for trips out to the back of Beyond. You can feel secure that it's in the back there and they're not going to break. So yeah, you've done really well with your Tangled Tree wines. The wines of the Van Loveren family Vineyards cover an appealing wide range with the new look packaging focused on the contemporary wine lover who enjoys sparkling to fortified wine, white and or red, single varietals, expert blends. So you can get along to Liquor City Claremont to get your hands on a bottle of the Van Loveren Sauvignon Blanc. I know Tony Da Costa stocks it there. We've also got a great deal for you on via the grapevine.co.za. You can hit the Wine with Guy button to buy. And if you fancy your luck like somebody behind me here, then you can answer the easy question on the Via the Grapevine Facebook page, and you could win a mixed case of these wines, as well as a food and wine pairing voucher for 8 people at the Van Loveren tasting room in the Robertson Valley, and that's valid for 6 months. Gentlemen, thank you for your time today. It's been absolutely wonderful.
Thank you, Guy.
Thank you very much, Guy. All the best.
A quick question from me just before I let you go. Are you still doing the, I'm trying to remember if it was called the Fifth Cousin, the whiskies? Are you still bringing those in?
We are still doing whiskey. It's called Scottish Cousin now.
Scottish Cousin, yes.
Yes, yeah. And we still have a 5-year, 8-year, and a 12-year. So yeah, we still have that available. Excellent.
Well, Willie, Conradie, Jacques, Cilliers, thank you for your time, gentlemen. Really appreciate chatting with you.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure, Guy.
Cheers, Guy.
Take care. And of course, remember that we'll do Via the Grapevine again next week, and it'll be brought to you by Liquor City Claremont. You're invited to their wine emporium for a journey via the Grapevine.